Hello, my name is Lucas. I am the founder of Data Marketing School. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to set up Microsoft Ads conversion tracking with Google Tag Manager. The first thing that you need to do when you set up Microsoft Ads conversion tracking is to create a UET tag. And in your Microsoft Ads Manager, you go to Conversions, UET tag, click on the Create button here, create UET tag, then give it a name. You can give it a description if you want, if you have several of them. You can click on Save and Next, and then install the tag yourself. Next. Then Microsoft Ads gives you a piece of code that you don't have to use it. We will use Google Tag Manager to set up this one. Click on Next and then Done. Okay, so now your UET tag is created. The UET tag status is currently unverified, but once you've set up this tag on your website, it's going to change to active. The second step is to go to Google Tag Manager. Here, I will assume that you have Google Tag Manager installed on your website. If it's not the case yet, you can click on your GTM ID and copy this code and paste it in your website head tags. To create a Microsoft UET tag, click on New here. Here, click on Tag Configuration. Here you can look for Microsoft Advertising Universal Event Tracking. So this is what we'll need to configure. You can go back to your Microsoft Advertising dashboard, and here under Conversions, UET tag, you can click on All Tags here. And here you have a column called Tag ID. And here you can take the tag ID from the UET tag we just created. Paste this here, so you can also create a constant variable, so you can use this variable to set up all other tags, but for now let's keep it simple. Here under the track type, we're gonna set up a page view tag for now, and here in the trigger section, just select the page view, so you can either choose all pages or initialization all pages. I'll select this one, and here let's call this Microsoft Ads page view, and then click Save. You can then open the preview. So I've created a really simple demo website for this tutorial, but it's going to be the same on your website. So here you can check using the extension, which is UET Tag Helper. I'll put a link in the description of this video. Click on this toggle here, and then reload the page. So if you click again on the extension, you may have this message, no UET tags found. This is a bug from the extension, so sometimes it's working, sometimes it's not working. So don't panic. I'll show you solutions to verify if it's working correctly. If you want to know what's happening inside the extension when it's working, so you should have at this stage a page load event like you see on this screenshot. And if you click on the parameter details here, it will give you a definition. I mean, what is the parameters that is in the request that is sent to Microsoft Ads, and what is the corresponding value. For the page view that we've set up in GTM here, the corresponding Microsoft Ads event is page load. So it's something specific to Microsoft Ads. It's not called page view, it's called page load, but it's okay. So here we've sent correctly a page load event to Microsoft Ads. And then if you go back to your UET tag in Microsoft Ads, you should see a new tag status. So here it's still unverified. It can take up to 24 hours to change here. So don't worry if you still see the unverified status. And another way to check if everything is working properly, you can open your console. So I just have a keyboard shortcut, but if you don't know any shortcuts, you can click on Inspect here. You will go to the Elements tab, and you can go to the Network tab here and filter your request to find ping requests. So you can reload the page. Here you can see that the library from Microsoft Ads is loaded. This is your UET tag ID. Here you have a specific request about UET Consent Mode, so don't look at it at the moment. I will give some explanations a bit later in this video. This is the important request, the fourth one, because this is the page load request. So you need to check here that you have this request and that the data is correctly sent to Microsoft Ads. So this was for the page view event. But what if you want to send more information to Microsoft Ads, for example, a conversion when a purchase is happening on your website, you want to send that purchase event to Microsoft Ads. So we're going to look at how you can configure such conversion events. So here you can click on New. You can select again your Microsoft Ads conversion tracking tag. So you can do it this way, or you can go back to your page view tag and click on the 3 dots here and then click on copy. So here you have your conversion. Let's call this purchase. So we're gonna set up a purchase conversion event here. Here you have several track types. You can select by vertical, which will change the tag appearance. So I like to do it fully customized, so I click on define your own event action, and then you can add your own parameters here. You can also click on custom conversion, and it will give you a bit more stuff in the interface to properly set up a conversion. But the thing is that you can do it manually with event parameters. The hard thing is that the event parameters is not something that is very well documented on Microsoft Ads, and that is why I created this video and also a corresponding blog post so that you can understand what can be sent here in the event parameters. Here you need to define an event action. First, you need to go to Microsoft Ads, go to conversion goals. So here you see that I've created some test conversion goals. We're gonna create a new one together. So click create, click on website here. Next, select the goal category. So for this example, it's gonna be purchase. Here I'm going to send an event. So don't select destination URL, don't select product, just select event, click next. Let's call this the way you want. I'm calling this my purchase event. Revenue, each conversion has the same value. Conversion action value may vary. So for e-commerce website, it's going to be this one. Let's select my currency. It's going to be euros. This value is going to be sent with the conversion tracking, but if the value for some reason can be sent, it's a good practice to put a default value here, which is maybe your average order value. So let's, for example, put 59. Here you have advanced settings that you can change if you want, if you know what you're doing. I'm just gonna keep it as it is for now. Let's talk about enhanced conversions a bit later. Here you can select I don't want to use enhanced conversions. Select your UET tag. So I'm going to select the one we created before. This UET tag is already installed, yes. Save and next. Here you can click on manual installation. Here is the important thing. If you remember, here you need to define your event action. And this is going to be the same thing that you're going to put inside this action field here. So the action equals to purchase. So you can rename this the way you want. So here, track event on online action, and then you can click save and next, and then done. You can see the unverified status. What we're going to do is to trigger this on our purchase event on our website. So here I call this purchase, the event action field. And here I'm going to add event parameters. So if you want to know a bit more about what are the event parameters you can send, you can click on my blog post below this video and you can go to general events and associated parameters. And here, if you look into this table, so for example, the purchase here, you can see that you can send transaction ID, revenue value, currency, tax, shipping, items, coupon. For example, for the items array, you need to send these specific keys like ID, brand, category. I mean, not all of them are required, but it's a good practice to send them if you have them available in your data layer. Let's go back to GTM. Let's add a parameter. So for example, transaction ID. I have already created the data layer variables. You'll have to create them if you haven't them yet. Click on e-commerce transaction ID, click add. Let's trigger this one. So I have the initializational pages trigger here because I copied from my previous tag. Let's trigger this on a custom data layer event, which is purchase, which is corresponding at the event that will be fired on my website when I click on this trigger purchase event. Let's save this one. Let's open the preview again. So here, let's click on trigger purchase event. This is GA4 standard data layer that I pushed here with random transaction ID, which is T12345. If you go back to the network tab, you may have seen it, but there was a new request when I click on this button. This one is a custom event here. EA for event action, which is purchase. and you have the transaction ID here, which is T12345. If you go back here, let's reload. Let's check if the tracking status is still unverified. So here, under my purchase event, it switched from unverified to no recent conversions. If we look at UET tags here, you can see that there is this message, no records found. It looks like Microsoft Ads understand that we are sending data and your tag is now verified. Let's go back to GTM. Click again on this purchase. Then here, let's add the items. So here I created a custom JS with the mapping from GA4 data layer items array to what Microsoft Ads is expecting in terms of data. So click add. And if you want to check what is the custom JS, you can go to my blog post again below this video and copy this code and create a custom JS variable for your items array. And if there is something inside this array that you can't map with your current data layer, just remove it here. Okay, let's save to see what's going on. Click the preview again. Okay, let's click again the purchase button. And here you can see that the tag created this items parameter. So let's go back to e-commerce events. And here we can set up the revenue value and the currency. Okay, so let's go back here. Let's add a parameter, revenue value. And here I'm going to use e-commerce.value for currency. Let's use e-commerce.currency. Click add, click save, and let's open the preview again. Let's click on purchase button. So now you can see GV and GC. The G is for goal value and goal currency. So here you can see our page view. Well, Microsoft Ads is a bit late, but they received the page view, which is called the page load in their terms. Here you can see there is one event received, and if you click on export data, so you can see in the file that you've downloaded the event action, which is page view here, the parameter received, and the parameter value. So here for the page view, you don't have any parameters, any specific parameters. So now let's talk about enhanced conversion tracking. So this enhanced part is about sending user data. Let's say you have an e-commerce website and you can get user data when the visitor is logged in, or you get the user data when the purchase event is triggered, for example. Or let's say you have a lead generation website and you want to collect user data when someone submits a form. So this data will help Microsoft Ads understand who is the person on your website, and this data will help them optimize your ads, okay? You can send user data on the page view event. So for example, here you can check send enhanced conversion values, and here you can put an email address. I'm gonna add this data here without using data layer variables, just for the example. Let's set up a random number. This is just for the example. So in the real world, you would create data layer variables, add them inside these fields. Let's click save here. And let's see what's the difference in the page view or page load requests. So here inside the request, you have a new parameter, which is called PID, personal IDs, I guess. And inside this parameter, you have the EM for email and the PH for phone number. And this is hashed before being sent to Microsoft Ads. And you also have another request with an event called PID and this PID field. So this is for page views. And if you want to add this enhanced conversion values to a conversion event, you can add another parameter here, which is called PID. And there is also a specific way of sending PIDs here, which I described in my blog post as well. So this is the custom JS variable I'm using. I'm just creating the email and the phone number fields in an object like this and getting this data from my data layer. Just copy it and create a custom JS variable and put this variable inside this value field here. Click add and we're good to go. Let's test this one. So I still have these two requests here, which is my page view with my PIDs. And let's click on this button. And this is my purchase event. So here I find again my other parameters and also my PID here. And the last thing that you need to do for enhanced conversions is to go back to your conversion goals and click on your purchase event in this example, and then click next until enhanced conversions, and then click turn on enhanced conversions and click this checkbox and click save and next. So now let's talk about UET Consent Mode. You may have heard that Microsoft Ads also introduced their own consent mode. So in Google Consent Mode version 2, there are 4 main signals: ad storage, analytics storage, ad user data, and ad personalization. And for Microsoft Ads, at least at the time of recording, there is only one signal, which is ad storage. What you can do is you can map the values from Google Consent Mode to Microsoft Ads Consent Mode in order to set this up quickly. Here on your GTM interface, you can click on New. We're going to use the Consent Mode Google plus Microsoft tags from Simo. And here for the default command, we're going to put all of this to denied. So you may also configure this with a CMP, but again, for this tutorial, we're going to keep it simple. Here you can enable Microsoft Consent Mode. Here you can trigger this one on consent initialization. Okay, here I'm going to show you something. I added a button here on my demo website. When I click I agree, it sends a consent update event in the data layer. This is going to simulate when a user accepts the cookies on the cookie banner. Let's start from this tag, click on copy, and this is going to be the update command. Update. Here, let's put all to granted. So you should map this with what's inside the CMP and what the user did accept. Again, let's keep it simple. In the trigger, I'm going to create a new data layer event, consent update. Let's name it DLE for data layer event, and then consent update. Click save. Let's open the preview. And here you can see that the consent default was set to denied. And what you can see here in this request, you can see that consent event to default. The ASC parameter, which is going to be D or G, denied or granted. So this is mainly what you can look at for consent. And inside the event request, you can see again this parameter saying we have the consent or we don't have the consent. Okay, so let's click on I agree. And here you have 3 requests with the consent update, the consent event, and the ASC parameter to G for granted. And here, if you trigger your purchase event, this event will be sent with the ASC parameter to granted. If you want to send correct conversion data to Microsoft Ads, you need to set up this consent mode. If you are in the European Economic Area, EEA, you need to send these consent signals. If you don't do it, it's simple. If I pause this, let's open the preview. If you don't do anything about consent mode, it will be enforced to denied. Here you can see consent event to enforced and the ASC parameter to D for denied. So this is what's happening if you don't do anything and if you are located in the European Economic Area. What are the other settings you can have in your tag? So let's click here and let's select vertical e-commerce, for example. So here you have basically predefined event actions and predefined fields that you can fill in. For example, the page type, or some stuff related to e-commerce. You can also send them through parameters. So for example, here you have the e-com page type, e-com prod ID. So you can put these parameters inside the event parameters here, and you will have the same behavior. And it's basically the same thing per vertical. Let's choose hotel. So you have specific parameters here. You have also a currency field. And if you look at my blog post under the vertical hotel, you have all the corresponding parameters here that you can send inside